614 Startups Nation, welcome. This is a special social media check-in after we just did a video check and a sound check here at the U. This is going to be the new setup. Of course, this is a work in progress, but we want to bring you guys a little bit of behind the scenes of what we're working on for 2021. Now, traditionally, what we do is we record an audio podcast. We take that audio podcast to editing. After it's edited, it goes back to the guest. The guest approves the podcast, and then we post it. Usually, all of that happens over the period of 1 week. But what we want to do is we want to take that friction away and do a complete 1 hour live show. Now, the new format, and thank you so much, Kindred Plate, for joining us. You are one of the day ones. Oh, I got to take these off, right? I'm getting the circles in the glasses. You are one of our day ones here at 614 Startups. Really appreciate all the support. Seth Militoris, welcome. Thank you so much for joining the live. Much appreciated. So we're talking about the new format of 614 Startups. It's going to open much like this with a little bit of a intro from me about what's going on with the show, who the guest is, etc. And then we're going to go into news of the week, right? So these are articles. This is, features in local newspapers. This is maybe even a feature in a national newspaper about local companies and what they're doing. So typical things that might make the news would be like, somebody got a big promotion, somebody raised some money, a new company moves to Columbus, Ohio. One of our guests has an exit or a big success, one of our alumni, somebody who's been on the show. So that's the kind of news that we're going to bring you guys, things to kind of talk about and celebrate that are happening in the community. Hopefully all of it will be positive, but of course we want to be a true media outlet. So we will cover some things that maybe aren't going too well, and then we'll bring on some guests to discuss those issues. So we want to be a platform that not just talks about the positive things that are going on, but talking about some of the things that might not be so positive that actually need to be addressed, right? So that's kind of the first segment of the show. I see Paul Rockwell in the house. Welcome, Paul. I see Tarita's Pizza. Am I saying that right? Welcome. Guys, this is a very supportive community, so in the comments, please put what you do. You never know who might need your service. After the news, we go to things on social media. So for you guys out there that follow our pages, you're engaged with us when we post content, you're putting your comments in there. If you guys are having events and I think it's an interesting event that would benefit the community, of course, I will repost it. And then on this show, we're going to highlight those things. So for example, I know the Kindred Plate, you're involved with a lot of things on the social side. So if you guys are doing a soup kitchen or something and they're trying to raise some funds, and I noticed that on social, we'll be raising some of those issues here on the podcast. And it's going to be live, right? So hopefully the audience, as people realize that this is going to be a live show and it's going to be at a regular time, which is Wednesdays from 4 to 6. Then more people are going to join and more people are going to see things like that from social media. So we're going to talk about social media, some funny stuff, some cool stuff, all of that. We're going to cover social media. And then we're going to transition into events. So 614 Startups for the first time is getting into the event space. I'm here with my super producer behind the camera, Ski, and we're talking about the anxieties of taking on events. If you guys out there have ever done an event before, events are a heavy lift, right? Really hard to do. A lot of logistics, even now in the world of virtual events. So we'll talk about events that we have upcoming. We'll talk about other events that are going on around the city. Maybe we'll do some networking, get people out of their not out of their homes, but in their homes, but in a virtual space where we could network with one another. Columbus Young Professionals. Okay, big shout out to Columbus Young Professionals and the announcement of your leadership council. I saw that you guys have some heavy hitters on the leadership council. You know what? I'm not jealous though. I saw some other people on the list. I'm like, damn, why didn't I get a call? I thought I was out here trying to but maybe it's just not my time. But That's tongue in cheek, guys. Congratulations to everybody who's on the Columbus Columbus Young Professionals Leadership Council. That's a great group. I know you guys are going to do awesome things. So Derek Grosso has been a man in the community, organizing young professionals, providing great programming. So to the team over at Columbus Young Professionals and Derek Grosso, congratulations to you guys. I see my guy CJ Edgington in the building. Welcome, CJ. Good to see you. Again, folks, please put in the comments who you are and what you do. You never know who might need your service. All right, so after we talk about events, we're going to jump right into the guest interview, right? And it's going to be the normal 614 startup style interview. We're going to be going back and forth. Now on live, I think it's going to add an extra element because we can actually do news of the day, right? We'll get the guest's opinion on some of the news stories that we covered, and there won't be the fear of that lag. One of the things I didn't want to do on the podcast is talk about current events because we didn't know exactly when the podcast would come out, if there would be new information that would impact the opinions on the podcast that would have been, recorded just a week earlier. But now that we're going to go live, we'll be able to do this stuff live. And we will have the protection of the fact that we're doing a live show when we're putting out content. People will realize, hey, those were comments at the time based on the information that was available at the time. So coming up, all right, so basically we're swinging for the fences right out of the gate. And first up is Naveed Iqbal of Dollar. Now, if in the comments you could put if you have student loans. Now, if that's too personal, don't out yourself, right? But just put a 1 in the comments if you have student loan debt. Now, Dollar is a startup that is innovating, and I don't want to give it all away. And quite frankly, I don't want to position what his company does incorrectly, because he's going to have 30 minutes on the show where we can really get into what Dollar does in terms of student loan debt. But here's the high level kind of basic understanding I have, right? So this is an opportunity for large companies or companies that offer benefits to address one of their employees' most pressing needs, which is student loans. Much like companies and the federal government gives companies tax breaks for making contributions to, let's say, a 401k, is there a world, right, and I believe this is the world that Dollar is looking to create, where large companies can create a similar benefit of matching funds or funds that can be direct deposited on behalf of their employees to pay student loans. And I know this is something that would probably require also some policy changes in terms of how that contribution is treated from a tax standpoint. So we're going to get into that with Naveed. If I'm completely wrong, watch the episode next week. I'm going to be set straight, but I believe that's how his company is going to approach this particular subject. Next up is my guy, Sam Badu. He's been on the show before when he was with a company called Restart. And it wasn't that long ago, but Sam transitioned and started Flurry. Now, if I was a venture capitalist and I had money today to invest, Sam and Flurry would be one of my very first investments, right? So if anybody anywhere right now asks me about a company, an idea that I really, really am excited about, it would be Flurry. Now, I'm not even going to tell you what that episode is about because I already said that I would put money down on that company. So you're going to have to tune in on February 17th. So Naveed is going to be on February 10th. We still have a lot of behind the scenes stuff to do to get ready. And then Sam is going to be on February 17th, followed by Kelly Jones of 68 Capital on February the 24th. Damon Hogan, welcome. In the comments, Damon, please put who you are and what you do. So Kelly Jones of 68 Capital, which is a venture fund co-founded, I believe, with Kelly and Paul Eilinger and the team over at Alos Ventures. And this is a fund that's been created to invest in Black and brown and other underrepresented founders. Now, I know kind of with what happened with George Floyd and all of the unrest during the summer that we had, what it felt like was an inflection point, right? That there were a lot of societal issues that needed to be addressed. A lot of things all came to a head. But one of the things that I'm extremely interested in is kind of a new civil rights movement, which is an economic civil rights movement, right? Where, as I work full time in a corporate environment, and we're talking about Black History Month. And one of the things that we talked about were inventions, right? A lot of things that maybe people might not be familiar with that were invented by Black people. And what really stood out to me was, yes, these inventions were created by Black people, but subsequently, when you do the research, you don't see that they started businesses. And if they did file patents, were they the actual direct beneficiaries of their own patents? And then even if they did start businesses, were those businesses generational in nature? And we really didn't see that. And so a fund like 68 Capital and Kelly Jones and what she's trying to do in terms of pump money into founders that are from these communities that can create businesses that can exit, right? If that's their strategy. Most of these are going to be startups where they're trying to scale quickly, go public, or scale and get acquired. Or if these could be legacy business, right? They can get to a size where maybe they don't necessarily go public, but they could really have a social impact and create jobs in these communities. So I'm excited to talk to Kelly Jones about that. But that's just a taste. That's just 3 guests. And I just rattled those off in like 2 minutes. So you guys have to tune in. Now, what I would ask you to do is please promote us on social if you don't mind. If you know another startup founder or company or investor who hasn't heard of us, please tag us, right? Tag our posts, share it with people who might be interested. My guy, Jack Lee Harris, I know you're part of that whole tiny home movement. Columbus is growing rapidly. Will we be able to absorb the next 1 million people? I know the real estate market is going crazy, right? So housing affordability, people thinking about tiny homes. I know another company, Calvin Cooper of Rove, is actually offering renters an opportunity to own the buildings that they live in, so people don't feel like they're paying rent and not acquiring any ownership. So there are a lot of creative, innovative things happening to deal with all of the social issues that we have as a city and as a country. So listen to the 614 Startups podcast. This is where you uncover the people who are solving big problems in the world. So promote us on social. Please follow us. We're decently active on Instagram, but it's not our platform because I'm not really a good Instagrammer. I don't take great photos. I probably don't tell the best stories on Instagram or use Instagram as it should be used. So please follow us also on LinkedIn. If you follow us on Instagram, that's where we do a lot of business, a lot of connections, a lot of networking. So if you're a business person, number one, you must have a LinkedIn. Number two, please follow us. And I think it's going to be very beneficial for you because we're very, very active on LinkedIn. Of course, we have Twitter, we have Facebook and some other platforms, but we're doing a lot of business on LinkedIn. Also, visit the website, subscribe to the newsletter. It's really easy. It's a pop-up. You go to 614startups.com, put your email in the pop-up that comes up, and we'll send you this information. So you'll know when episodes are coming out. You have great articles in there. And when we start doing events, that's how we're going to inform you about events. Now, there's this event I want to talk about, but I'm restraining myself because there's a lot that still needs to be done to get this event off the ground. So stay tuned. Sign up for the newsletter. We'll tell you about events like that, whether it be networking or webinars or even a festival of some sort. And then now I want to open it up to Q&A. Now, the one thing I got to warn you with the live stream, there's a little bit of a delay, maybe 20 seconds or so. So I don't want it to be any dead air. So now I've opened it up for Q&A, but I'm going to keep talking. But I want you guys to please, if you have any questions about the show, if you have any questions about your company, if you have any questions about starting a startup, please put it in the comments. Tomorrow, I will be speaking at Ohio State to the Business Builders Club at Ohio State. I have the privilege of speaking to them tomorrow. It's going to be virtual, of course. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but I'll figure it out, right? And those are some of the smartest kids, the future business leaders of Columbus and beyond. And so it's going to be an honor to speak with them. I think the last time I had a chance to speak at Ohio State was for the Kerwin Entrepreneurship Center, and I actually gave a talk around conversations and how to have great conversations, because that's what I do on the show. So we'll see. All right. That's been fun. I think we're going to be here for about 3 more minutes. And so I think I can rattle off a few more things for 3 minutes, but I would really, really, really like to hear from you, whether it be a question, a comment. What do you think about the new format? What do you think about the upcoming guests? I know I see some comments here from the Kindred Plate. She says yes. She's cheering us on as always. I really, really appreciate all the love. She's saying that she is excited about this, and we're excited to have you and have you tune in. And then my guy Jack Lee Harris with the thumbs up. So much appreciated there, folks. Don't be shy. Again, one of the things about startups, whether or not you have a business, you're interested in starting a business, it's all about putting it out there. People can't buy from you if they don't know what you do. So there's a room here. There are going to be people who watch this today. There are going to be people who watch this into perpetuity, because it's not just live on Instagram, it's live on YouTube. All right. And so we know that just because somebody may not contact you today doesn't necessarily mean that somebody down the road won't need your service. So I encourage you, I implore you to always, when the opportunity is given, share your business with other people. Even if it's just an idea, say, hey, I'm thinking about starting a restaurant. I'm thinking about starting a hot sauce company. I'm thinking about starting a podcast editing studio. I need to holler at you, Elio, because you can do X, Y, and Z a little bit better. So things like that are very important when you're building your business. All right. Well, guys, I'm not seeing any questions, but it looks like most of our traffic in terms of engagement came from Instagram, which is great. We're going to continue to put out content like this on Instagram. I got to step up my Instagram game. If you guys know somebody who's really, really good at Instagram that I need to be talking to, getting coaching from, please tag that person in the comments. All right, folks, let's do, you know what we're going to do, Ski? We're going to have some fun with some interesting graphics. I want to be like a Jimmy Kimmel or Stephen Colbert. Like when they have different segments, they have like a little segment graphic. I already have some ideas for some segments that we're going to do. So that should be pretty fun. I have one. I won't preview it right now, but it should be pretty funny when we drop it. All right, folks. So I think I'm going to just sign off, right? And since I'm not getting any folks with any questions, I'm going to sign off now. But again, tune in starting on February the 10th. We'll probably check in with a little bit more social media stuff between now and then to just keep you guys posted. And be on the lookout. We might drop something about an event. All right. Thank you, guys. Peace.